Hey y'all, welcome back to the Talkaholics podcast. This is Iman.
This is Raazia.
And this is episode 27.
Woo!
28. I lied, it's 28.
It's one of those numbers, guys. You'll know by the title.
Anyways, this podcast, or this episode, rather, is actually a really good one, I think, because we got into the nitty-gritty of traveler's guilt, as we coined it. But basically, immigrant girl's guilt about making decisions for herself, especially about travel.
Yeah.
So, we went into a little bit of a rant about that. And then Raazia finally did something that I bet you, if you're can I speak English? What am I saying? If you,
I think what Ivan's trying to say, if you listen to the podcast,
yeah, that's often, what I'm saying. from day one, if you're a day one listener, there you go. You know that Raazia has not watched Black Panther, because I don't know, lame. Yeah. Okay. But she finally watched it. So we talked about that a bit and our expectations for maybe a second Black Panther. Yeah. So that's pretty much the episode. We hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so for anybody listening who doesn't understand why this is such a a hard process, when you come from an immigrant family, and for some reason it's a Muslim immigrant family, it is so difficult for young women to do any traveling. I could just go to a different city in the same country, in the same province, and it could still be an issue. Anyways, so basically I'm trying to do this trip, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna break it down. It's a volunteer trip, and I'll be gone for about a month and a half. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna come out prepared. I'm gonna make this presentation for my parents. I
can't believe you made
and I'm going to. It's gonna outline all the benefits, why I want to go. I'm gonna even say some of the negatives of what the drawbacks, so I can show them that I'm reasonable.
Yeah, I'm gonna be objective about this. I'm gonna screw myself over.
So I made this beautiful prezi.
Oh man,
I love prezis.
Can I see it?
I will show it to you. Yes. And I basically just I outlined what the organization was about. Okay. So what they do, who they help, the background to give them an idea.
Context.
Where they're located. And I even gave why I want to do this, and then why it benefits me. Okay. Right? From an educational work standpoint. Right. And then I was like, okay, what are the negatives to this? And I even laid those out. And then it was probably the most nerve-wracking thing. I thought I was in an interview. It felt like I was in a life, this is a make it or break it interview, do or die. Everybody was stone-faced, cold. No one was giving me any emotions. I was so nervous. Oh my God. And then they basically flat out said, you're dumb. Really?
No, all three of them, or mainly
Well, my brother was trying to support.
Okay,
but my mom and dad were my mom is more she doesn't want me to go anywhere because she's scared. Oh. But that's just mom. That's what they do. Yeah, my dad was thinking of it more of it doesn't make any financial sense. Okay. Which I agree with. Yes, but I also think that finances shouldn't be your only motivation in life. I am in a very privileged position where I still live at home, so I don't have a lot of things to pay for, and this opportunity presented itself to me. So I was like, if I'm gonna take it now, it's gonna if it's at any time to do it would be now, because in the future I want to still go to do my master's and all this stuff. So you don't know what life is gonna throw at you in the next couple of years, right? More responsibilities. Yeah. I might move out. Who knows? You know what I mean? Mm. So and this opportunity gives me a chance to see a nice, by the way, it's Budapest. Yeah. See this place I've always wanted to visit. I get to have free housing because I would be staying with a friend. Mm-hmm. And then at the same time I would be doing really good work. Right. It's working with refugees coming into Hungary. So I was like trying to put it that way to my parents. It didn't really go through that to them. Oh. And I understood their point of view, and I tried to like let them know that I understand what you're saying. However,
still, I'm very much interested.
So basically, the end of it was, and I'm a very emotional person, so of course I cried.
Did you do the angry cry?
Yeah, the angry cry. It was the angry cry. It wasn't even like a sad cry. It was like, you're not understanding me, so I'm frustrated.
Exactly.
Basically, it ended off with them saying like, you know, we don't want you to do it, but like obviously we're not going to say no. You're old enough to you're old enough to make your own decision. So think about it for a little bit, and then when you make your decision, let us know. Yeah. I was like, okay. So yeah, I honestly like they made me rethink everything. At that point, I was like, yes, I'm ready, whatever. And then they made me rethink it again. So I was like rethinking it. I was reaching out to friends like, you know, like, what should I do? This is my situation. Trying to get like perspectives. Like, am I not being? I don't want, because sometimes I can be very spontaneous. Right. Like I can, if I see something, I get really like hyped over the positives, and I kind of not look at the negatives, and I go for it.
More or less like a passion project for
exactly.
you, what it would be.
So I was trying to be rational. I was like, Iman, this is a big like choice, you know, think about it. Yeah. So I did, and I thought about it for a good like 2-3 weeks, and then after that, the other day I was like to my mom, I was like, hey, like, and one of my mom's suggestions was like, because I was thinking of going like soon, right? And she was like, why don't you push it to like later in the year, so like you can save some money, and then when you go, you're not coming back with no money and stuff like that. Like, be smart about it. So I was like, oh, you know, that might be a good idea. And I didn't want to push it too late, but it was because summertime prices for tickets and stuff go up. But I was like, you know what, I'll have more time to save, and I also have points that I can take for flight, like travel and stuff like that. Okay. So I was like thinking about it. I was like, you know, I was like to my mom, like, you know, I think I'm gonna take your, you know, suggestion, and I'll go later, but I still want to go. And she basically was like, no. She didn't say no, like, you can't go, but like she's like I don't want you to do this. And I was like, listen, you said you're gonna support my decision. She's like, yeah, but doesn't mean I'm gonna be happy about it. So I was like, okay, but like it is what it is. Yeah. And then she was like, okay, well, we have to have a discussion again. And I was like, why do we have to have another discussion? We already had a discussion. This is my decision. So now I'm waiting for her to discussion. I was like, listen, we can't wait. Like, tickets, you know, prices are gonna go up.
Yeah. And how long, sorry, just to like give people context who are listening, I think going back to like your financial comment, it's because this is like a volunteer trip.
Yeah, I'm not getting paid for it, but however, I'm not paying for housing. I'm going to be there for over, you know, over a month.
Someone, like, and I think the opportunity, like you said, like it's, I don't know how long your friend is there for doing this project.
She's going to be there till September. Okay. She left last October 2018, and she's coming back September.
Yeah, and so obviously this opportunity will not last forever.
Exactly.
And it's an amazing country that I've also wanted to go to so bad. Oh my gosh, the architecture there is crazy. Yeah. And again, like you know someone there, the opportunity is ready for you, and it's time sensitive. So yeah, I completely get that you like want to jump on it, and I like that I can't get over the fact that you set up a whole prezi and like
I set up a whole prezi,
which is good because that I hope that shows them you're serious, but is what is probably freaking them out
because they're like wait, because the first thing my dad was like when I was done my prezi, he was like, so are you telling us that you're going? Are you asking for permission? Not permission, but like, are you asking for our opinion to consider and then make a decision, or did you already make a decision? And then like right then and there I was like because like half of me is like, well, I decided, but I didn't want to like be like, no, I decided, I'm not considering it, but obviously I made it so I was like, no, I want to hear your opinions. And then that's when they told me like they just crushed my dreams. But no, honestly, like it is, their points are valid 100%. And well, my dad's points about like the financial thing, those are valid. Yes, 100%. I did take those into consideration before. I still take them into consideration now. Their points about being like worried about my safety, still valid, but I don't think as relevant because anything can happen. No, it doesn't matter what country you go to. Yeah, there's like horrible things happening all over the world, and for that to stop you from doing what you want to do, I think don't be stupid. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to go into situations that you know will get you into trouble. But this whole idea, like, oh, if you go to this place that's maybe near this place, you might get into, like, you know what I mean? Like, that kind of thinking will hold you back from so much.
From everything.
And that doesn't work. Like, when I went to Europe, when I was on my exchange, like, I was in Europe at a time where there was a lot of stuff going on where it was very anti-Muslim, like Islamophobia was very, very high at that time, especially because there was the bombing in London, and then Ariana Grande's concert, like all that stuff. I was there at that time, so like there was all this like rhetoric around Muslims, and I was fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
And that's why, like, not to get all communications major on you guys, but like the media plays a really big part in how we perceive issues. Like, not that these things aren't happening. There's still, of course, there's hate crimes, and of course, there's people who don't understand Muslims and will actually violently, physically, like, you know, or verbally attack you because you are Muslim. Of course, but those are things that happen in Toronto too.
Exactly.
So when I went to Europe, when I was very nervous. When I went to Paris, when I went to London, when I went to Croatia, when I went to, you know, all these places, I was very worried for myself because I was like, oh, all these people are going to look at me and hate me. Yeah. No, that wasn't the case. Yeah. And that's why I think, like, yes, of course, we shouldn't take away from what people are experiencing, because it does happen, 100%. But at the same time, it shouldn't stop you from doing what you want to do, traveling to the places you want to be. You just have to be cautious and be aware of your surroundings. And if you ever, you know, like, face a hostile person, you just have to, obviously you deal with it in the way that the situation is presented. Like, if it's a person that's verbally abusive, you know, like, there's certain ways you can
but to your point, again, that stuff can happen here.
Yeah, like, it can happen here. It has happened here, 100%. Yeah. Every time I step on the subway, like, I see some weird look. Like, you know what I mean? Every time I walk out into the street, if I walk into an area that isn't you know, very culturally diverse, like Scarborough. Like, Scarborough is very culturally... If I go somewhere else that isn't very diverse, I'm gonna get looks. People look at me weirdly. People, like, step away from me. It happens here, like... it's an unfortunate thing, but it's not gonna stop me from going out and doing things I want to do. And honestly, like, travel is such a good way for us to be exposed to other cultures and for people to be exposed to us.
I mean, at the end of the day, too, everyone knows, like, when you're in your 20s, like, this is the opportunity and the time for you to be traveling. Yeah. For you to explore the world, because, you know, later on in life you have greater responsibilities. Yeah. You know, less opportunity because you're gonna have to be stable and grounded in your house, taking care of whatever you need to. So I think both of us, our nightmare is to find ourselves in our, you know, mid-30s, you know, and, you know, again, having that stable household and then going, I wish I did this.
Yeah, I don't want to regret it. Like, that was the thing. Yeah. I was like, if I pass this by because I'm scared.
Out of fear, exactly.
Yeah, if I'm scared that, like, when I come back, I'm not going to be able to pay off my loans, my OSAP loans or something like that. And then in a couple of years, I'm like, wow, that was such a great opportunity. Why didn't I do it? I don't want to have this regret. Exactly, so, and, like, another thing is, like, the one thing I hate hearing is, like, why don't you travel when you get married? Oh, okay. It burns. It boils my blood.
That's its own podcast episode, honestly.
Like, not that you can't travel when you're married. Sure, it's not. That's not the point. It's not that a man or a woman or whatever marital. You know, it's not that someone's gonna tie you down. It's the fact that when you make that step, there are new responsibilities and there's new financial restraints that occur because you're now moving into a new place. Even if you're not moving into a new place, it's a new lifestyle. There's different, you know, you have to work out your finances with your partner.
Scheduling, all that
and you
stuff.
Have to be, like, you know, you have to think about your partner. Obviously, you can't just, like, take off and leave. Yeah. You've married that person. Like, they're part of your life. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? So, like, there's, like, your situation changes. So now, I'm not tired. Like, I'm loose. She's good. I'm free. Good. You know what I mean? So, not that I won't be able to travel when I do get married, you know, inshallah. Yeah. But it's just that it's a different step in your life.
No, for sure. And I think for, well, at least people like me, I know not everyone sees eye to eye on this, but I personally like the idea of traveling alone and or independently and kind of choosing where I want to go when I want to go, kind of thing.
I mean, like, it's a different type of travel. Like, it is traveling with your partner is great. Yeah. Whatever, but, like, traveling with your friends is a whole different experience. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. I don't think you can debate that. Yes.
I want to do my master's soon, so, like, for me, this is a good way for me to do something before my master's, and it also relates to the work that I want to do in the future. So it's kind of like win-win for me. Yes, there are drawbacks, but anyways, guys, this is my internal ramblings. This is what goes on my head every day. Like, this is what I think about.
And I'm excited that you're putting it on the podcast too, only because I feel like this is a way for us to track, like, given in the future, and if you do go inshallah to Budapest and stuff, we'll get to see, like, the whole arc of the story.
I will definitely make a travel video for you guys, and we'll put it up on our channel.
Yeah, we'll link you guys to all that stuff. But that just reminded me of what you said. There's a bit about, like, you know, feeling selfish, feeling like you're making a decision solely for yourself, and that there's some kind of, you know, that you're not happy with what you've been given. There was a tweet I was sent. I can't find it right now, but it was about like it said something like Muslim young girls who are unmarried spend 3 months of their time feeling guilt for making decisions about their life.
I saw that, and it's so true. Like you feel so guilty, and I don't know where this guilt comes from.
Yeah,
like why we're like conditioned to think that we can't do things for ourselves because we have to consider other people's feelings, especially our parents.
Yeah. No, because we're supposed to be in a way. Well, I think Muslim girls, apart from other kind of girls from other cultures or communities, are expected to almost play all the roles. So like we're supposed to play the provider role, the nurturer role, to be that stable body inside a household, doing whatever house chore stuff, and kind of being expected to be selfless, essentially. And so when you are grown up, especially in the Western world, where you have the opportunity to build your own career, get out there and travel, learn things for yourself, and do all of that truly independently, it's like, well, wait, that's not what was expected of me.
That's not what I was told. That's not what, like... Yeah.
So I remember looking back at that tweet, because she said 3 months, that the girl who made the tweet, and I was like, no, that was like the past 3 years of my life.
Exactly.
I think that's the like consistent struggle.
And that's the story of my life. Like every decision I made that goes against what my parents wanted me to do came with guilt, and still kind of comes with guilt. You still feel guilty for making them not quote unquote proud at that moment, because my parents would now tell me that they're proud of me, but at that moment when I made the decision, they would have been like, that's not what we wanted you to,
they're a little bit disappointed, and that's like obviously not the easiest thing to deal with, right? Because even like for me, even having the consideration, or just thinking, not even making any decisions about it, just thinking about the idea of moving out is like, that's burden, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like moving out and you're not married?
Yeah, exactly.
For what?
Exactly.
That's literally what it is.
Oh my god, like and again, it's not something any other girl or man outside of like, our community, but are in our same age rate, like they'd be like, what do you mean? That's like typical for being 23. And I'm like, no, it isn't.
Yeah, it's not typical.
But it's one of those things.
I this is why I really, really encourage like girls in general, but Muslim girls, or any like girl from an immigrant family who feels like she has to stay with her family. Like family's great, cherish them, like respect them. You have to be respectful, because like you still love your family, and they're only thinking of what's best for you in their eyes, right? Compared to their experiences, what they went through, because they went through like they had to completely abandon their lifestyles and come here, and like it's different for everybody, but that's most likely the case,
right?
So they're thinking of what to do for you to make you successful and not go through what they did.
Right.
Completely understand that. But at the same time, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend to anybody, go out and do things that allow you to explore and to see everything that the world has to offer. Exactly. And like allows you to understand things other than what your family has conditioned you to think and to believe, and what, you know what I mean? Like if you see something on the media and you don't know if it's true, like go and try to experience it, and like, because you know what, at the end of the day, it gives you this independence, and like what is it? Autonomy, that's what it is. Yeah. Like this independence and autonomy to be able to like live your life. When I went to Europe and lived alone for 6 months, it was so refreshing, because
liberating.
It is liberating, because not that I wasn't independent at home, but I was independent but still reliant. On like my family, because I went home, everything's provided for me, like
the cooking and stuff,
like
cleaning.
Cooking, even like the utensils made, or like pots, pans, like mixers, all this stuff, everything is provided for you. It's ready for you. You don't have to go and buy it. Groceries were in the house. So when I went and lived on my own, they only gave me 1 spoon, 1 fork, a wok, and a pan, or what's it called?
A fry pan?
Not a fry pan. A pot.
Okay.
That's what it
went from pan to pot, guys.
Like a wok, a pot, 1 stir stick, a fork, a spoon, a knife, and like a cup.
Right.
So like, because you're living alone, they only give you enough because I was living in the dorm.
Yeah.
So I had to go and get my laundry detergent. I had to go and get like a hamper. I had to go and get any other utensils I needed, like if I needed a strainer or a measuring cup, like all these things, a dish towel, like all these things that are at home, and you're like, wait, all these things they're not going to be there for me anymore. And for people who are who are living in families or communities that are like, once you hit 18, like that's it, you're done, like leave home. You may not understand what this sounds like, because it sounds childish to people like that, right? Because they've already gone through this, or if you've already moved away for school or something like that. But for me, it was like, I have to do all this stuff on a weekly basis. If I don't do it, I have no food. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was so liberating, and it was so nice, because when I came home, like, it was a little tough readjusting to like that family life where everybody's like, where are you going? You know, where are you? This and this and this every day. Like every time you leave the house, like, where are you going? But I still was able to, you know, use that independence that I like learned and, you know, bring it to my lifestyle at home and kind of make it fit. So
for sure.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think just to like very quickly wrap this up, because there's just for the sake of time, I have another topic I really know that you're gonna scream about.
Okay.
Is that I think ultimately what we're trying to say is that just, I think we're not saying, you know, travel for the sake of travel.
No.
We're not saying, you know, travel to put it on, you know, your Instagram or whatever.
No.
We're not saying, like, leave your parents because you deserve it kind of thing. No.
Yeah,
it comes down to, like, you have to do those kind of you have to go through new experiences to be able to understand what makes you truly happy, I think.
Yes.
In discovering your own happiness, I think you're probably like, well, I know which TV shows I like, and I know what food I like, so why are you... No, but, like, when it comes to, like, going into the real world, you're done school. Like, it's different.
It's very different.
It's different. And, you know, your head... Well, at least for me, right out of university, like, I think if you asked me when I was 12, you know, what would you be doing right after you graduate, I'd be like, oh, I'd get married right away and have a kid, and, you know, just go on to the next thing.
Because that's what we're expected. It's like this like factory line of expectations.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's not that I don't want to do those things anymore, but I think right now I understand that, like, I can still do those things alongside finding things that also make me happy. Because imagine, like, settling for a life just to be able to say that I did the thing, like I did the next thing that I was supposed to do, like getting married, like whatever. But then at the same time, I'm like, oh, I wish I went into this kind of career. I just that's like,
you don't want to regret that. Exactly. No. And you know what, the thing is, like, unfortunately, those were the situations that our parents, or a lot of of your parents maybe, were in, because they had to come into this new place, and then they had to immediately find work so that they can, you know, sustain themselves. And a lot of times they may have come with like they came married, so they have to support, you know, their partner, or they came with a family already, they had kids, like, so all these things, like, to take into consideration, they had to find work, and then they would stick to that work for 20 plus years. But I think with us, like, especially like millennials in general, there's so many opportunities out there for us, and, like, yes, it's hard. Full-time jobs, like, work is precarious. We've talked about this in other podcasts before. You know, it's a lot of contract work, but, you know, maybe take advantage of that contract work, because we have to be adaptable, especially in the workforce now, and I don't think we're conditioned to stay in a job for 20 years. You know what I mean? Yes. At least not now. Maybe, like, you know, in a couple of years when you're like, okay, you know, I need this stability.
Right.
Find permanent work. But, like, right now, I think that there's so many opportunities out there for us that we need to be continuously, like, looking in that, and sometimes looking for new opportunities and new things to better ourselves, and maybe contract work is the way to do that.
Truly, yeah.
So, I mean, to end off that little rant that lasted like 20 minutes, I would coin this as traveler's guilt.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Because it's
specifically Muslim girls travelers guilt.
Yeah, Muslim girl traveler's guilt.
It's just it's not the best, but I think, I mean, you'll work through it. Just give yourself the opportunity to do it. Say yes to new experiences, and then I find that you won't regret it, because at least you'll look back and say, I tried. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. So that's ultimately it.
But
But the one thing I wanted to ask you, Iman, is what's the one thing on the history of the Talkaholics podcast that you've wanted me to do? Since I think the first episode you were like, Raazia, why haven't you done this? I'm ashamed of you.
Wait, I have really bad... Did you watch Black Panther? Oh my God! I was about to say I have really bad memory, and then it hit me. I was like, yes, finally you watched it.
I did watch it.
Thank God.
I know, I watched it, and I don't even know what, like, got me to do it. Finally, I honestly think it was just boredom, and then, like, finally listening to Iman, like, 26 episodes in, that I have to do it. So yeah, I did what I watched it, like the full thing from top to bottom, and like obviously
it's a long one, yeah.
Yeah, but how am I gonna say I don't like it? Like I loved it.
It was great.
I loved it.
I've seen it like 3 times.
Yeah, it was so good. I think just so like again, like maybe we should title this podcast like the last person on earth to ever watch Black Panther. But
yeah.
Like, I think so. My opinions are not any different from what I've seen online.
Yeah.
I think the standout person in the entire movie for me, I'm biased too because I really like his work. Michael B. Jordan, yeah. Him as a villain and just his charisma and everything in that film. Oh my god, killed me.
But like, I love. I mean, it's been done before, but I just love his character because, he was the villain, but they made you sympathize with him.
Yeah, you understand why he's angry.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want him to die.
Yeah, you don't. You don't. And like I like his whole like just the very simple costume like what do you call special effects on his body? Yeah. That's so simple, like the little tick marks, but it means something. They give it reason, which I liked. Again, I like a lot of obviously the biggest thing people took away from this was like the costumes and stuff, like the story behind it, like the meaning and like, you know, what it would have been like should, you know, Africa not been colonized and was given the chance to thrive, and to use technology to be a better place. Like, you know, what would have that looked like? And you got like a whole visual depiction of it. And I was like, holy shoot! Like a lot of this, the set, the what they were wearing, the colors, the aesthetic, all the way through was like
and I really loved how. They brought in like different elements of African cultures into the costumes because it's not just like it wasn't just like West Africa. You could see I saw elements of like Ethiopian, you know, like things in there, and it was nice because you recognize it, and I'm sure a lot of people that are from African descent, like they could recognize themselves in those different things, and that's really nice to see. Yeah, for sure. So I love that movie. I will always love that movie.
Honestly, because I can imagine from like just being South Asian myself that like, you know, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, India, and Bangladesh often just get mushed together as like one thing, and so I can imagine like you watching it would have been like nice to see segments of things finally, right? Again, like the story was kind of what I expected. It is a bit of like a Lion King story if you think about it, and which I don't blame them for using because it makes sense with the whole story of Black Panther and stuff. And I don't know. It was just really well done. I like how they started off with something that you didn't expect. Yeah, like, it's the whole scene in the apartment. Yeah. With the old Black Panther king and whatever, and that whole confrontation. But yeah, they like the story had an emotional core. Like everything about it was good. I love Lupita Nyong'o.
I love her.
And then again, how they introduced her and stuff too. She's wearing a scarf. I was like, oh, this is so cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they highlighted the issue that was going on.
Yeah, exactly. It was not even. That's what I like too, is that they actually addressed so many issues in that entire movie, but it's never like it's never preached. It's never like really, you know, dug into. It's just addressed. Like we're acknowledging all these pieces here, and that I really, really, really liked. One thing too, because there's not just one villain in this. There's Michael B. Jordan. He's like the main one. Oh yeah. But before that is the other white guy. Yeah. With the mechanical arm. Do you know who that is? No. Do you know who that is? Like who that actor is? No. Because I was like watching him. I was like, he's like so good at what he's doing right now, and I'm like, he's just some random, like, who the hell is he? And then I was like, that's Andy Serkis. You're like, it doesn't ring a bell. No. So he is Golem in Lord of the Rings. He's the main ape in Planet of the Apes. He does a lot of creature acting.
So then you never recognize him.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I didn't know the face, but I get that he's like so he's so expressive.
Yeah, he was really good. Yeah.
So he does a lot of creature acting. Like he's like legendary in that world of like he's the guy who has all the blue dots on him, and he does like all the facial acting. Yeah. But at the end of the day, you just see Golem. So that's. Oh my god, the fact that he was there, I was like so excited. Wow. And then they did like, you know, everything about like from the plot. It wasn't too predictable. It wasn't like, it was engaging the entire time. It was fast paced. The one thing though, the only gripe I had, if I'm allowed to have a gripe, was there's that scene where he's fighting with Michael B. Jordan where he's wearing like the Black Panther suit and it's like that gold detail. Yeah. But it's on the scene where they're on the subway tracks type of thing. They're on the train track. Yeah. The CG during that fight, I was like, it
was a little.
It's choppy. It's like not clean.
Yeah. I found like it wasn't really fluid. I felt like it could have been that fight could have been better, 100%. Yeah. But
that's the only thing I noticed. I was like, why does it look? Yeah. So I don't know what that came down to, but I also heard that this movie wasn't. They didn't have the greatest budget, but obviously they did really well in theaters.
Oh, I didn't know that. Their budget was high?
There was compared to other Marvel movies. They didn't get a lot, which makes sense for me. Like certain parts of the CG parts, I was like, okay, that's where they kind of were able to maybe avoid it all. But yeah, they definitely made it back.
Oh, 100%. More than enough, they made it back.
Do you think though that they'll make a second Black Panther?
I don't know. I want them to, but like at the same time, like what would it be about? Like what? Because didn't Black Panther die in the other movie?
Yes. Yeah.
So like,
fair enough. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Unless they do it in another time. Yeah. Like before that happened or whatever. I don't know. Or does it get passed on?
Or I mean, if they go into production now, it would have to be after Captain Marvel, after the second.
Next Avengers. But movie. I mean, would they do it in the same time period, like frame, or would they do it before he dies? Up to when he dies. I don't know.
I don't know because they. I don't know if you heard because they got an award recently. From the SAG Awards is the Screen Guild Actors Awards. Basically, actors vote for other actors to win stuff. Basically.
Oh, that's so funny. That's cute.
And that's how it's just. That's how it should be explained. But they won for best ensemble cast.
Oh,
so
nice.
all of them were there.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, they looked all really good. They're all dressed up for it. I guess they were expecting it. I don't know. And the main guy, what's his name? I always forget his name. The guy who plays Black Panther. Yeah. So
I can't remember his name either.
So he gets on stage and he basically hints to like, you know, this is important. Like, I appreciate that you guys recognize that, you know, that this movie was significant for more than just the fact that it was a good movie. But hey, Black Panther 2, like he like slipped it in there.
Oh.
So I don't know if that's him saying we know what's happening,
or like they want it to happen. Yeah,
or like promoting the idea.
Yeah, I just don't know where they would take the story.
That's my thing.
I don't want it to be. Yeah. See, the thing with sequels, okay, like sometimes they can be boring. Like there's no point to them. So like, I want them. Yeah, I would love a next Black Panther, but like don't ruin the first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know.
I think because like, well, now we know Lupita Nyong'o's character and him are together. So what? They like, just reign over the king. Like it's just I don't feel like
they have a child.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe there's something in the comics that they can pull from to be like, here, this is how we're gonna twist it, make it more interesting.
That's true. Yeah.
I don't know. Given everything that's happening with the next Avengers movie, Captain Marvel's in the picture. Like you said, like he already kind of died.
Yeah. So like, does he come back?
Yeah. Like, what happened to Wakanda? Did it get destroyed in the last Avengers movie?
I didn't watch the last Avengers movie, so I don't know. I told you, guys, you already know I'm not an Avengers Marvel person. I just watched it for the culture.
It's true. But they so Wakanda.
I just know he died because someone told me. And
no, because they battled in Wakanda in the Avengers movie. And I remember the shield breaking down and everything, like their outer belt.
So then they would just be exposed.
Yeah, but okay, maybe I have to go back, but I'm pretty sure like part of Wakanda was like damaged, like it's not the same. So it's like, okay, where do they reside? No, maybe that's the next movie. Like what happens next?
Like the rebuild.
Yeah, kind of like what happened. So you'd probably watch Thor. Then.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
But remember the ending of how Black Panther happened?
Yes.
Remember they came back to Oakland and then they're opening this new.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the introduction of Wakanda into the world and how the world takes it.
Okay, nice.
Because they did the UN. Remember they were at the UN after the credits.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Because they want to show people the technology, and so like. Yeah. So then it shows, and then this is what I'll predict what happens. Okay. So basically they're like, hey, we're from Wakanda.
Yeah.
You know, like this is our technology. Yeah. We're like the most powerful, you know, place on the earth now. Yeah. And then white people just fight them. Their stuff.
No, the white people fight them. That's
no, but honestly, that's probably what, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like
it's probably, you know what it'll be? It'll be, sorry.
It's okay. I love that you're getting
it'll be like modern day colonization.
Okay.
Like, so it'll speak about like colonization. Yeah. But in this movie, they never got colonized. So now this will happen.
Yeah, or like since it's now the people from Wakanda in the U.S., it can be about assimilation too, right? How do they adjust if they're gonna say, for example, they use that new building, whatever they make, that new organization, and they decide to kind of bring people there, then it's like, okay, yeah, the assimilation becomes a topic. So there's that. Another thing too is kind of, I just realized you didn't watch Thor Ragnarok, I don't think.
I mean, like it was on, so I saw like bits and pieces, but I wasn't paying attention.
But basically, that whole movie ends too with Asgard, which is like where the Thor's people are from, that is destroyed completely. They all have to leave. Like, all his people have to leave. So it's the same idea of like, okay, where did his people go? So same thing with Wakanda. It's like, okay, are we all making just a different home base? Like, what's happening? So
I don't know. I feel like now that I think about it could really be an interesting like political statement and like historical commentary. It would be interesting.
It would be neat to see that stuff. But yeah, like the Oscars are coming up. I think they got the Best Picture nom.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. So
ooh, that's exciting.
I'd be so curious to see, because it's a Marvel movie. Like, no one even expected them to even reach award status whatsoever. Like, people understood it was important, but you know, to get recognized at that level, no one thought. So yeah. I am curious to see at the Oscars what the hell happens with that.
Like I would love it. Yeah. I think they deserve it. Yeah. But do I think it'll happen? Well, you have to think who the Academy is, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? Are they gonna vote for Black Panther to win after Moonlight? Yeah. Like, a black movie already won last year, you know what I mean?
There's too much.
Are they gonna repeat it? I don't know.
There's only room for so much, guys.
And that's after they thought the white movie won. So, you know, I mean...
That's true. I forgot that. Oh my god. Well, yeah, I don't know. It's either... I think they have a pretty good chance. It's them or Bohemian Rhapsody and Green Book. Yeah. That's it.
I haven't seen Green Book.
I haven't, and I need to. Yeah. I need to see that.
Oh.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening into bigger stories just for this podcast today. Black Panther, obviously, and then Iman's whole Budapest story.
Yeah.
And a little chant for you guys to please go travel if you have the opportunity.
Of course. Yeah, it's definitely needed.
Yeah, for sure. If you want to listen more to us, we're always on SoundCloud and YouTube, posting every week, or at least we try to.
Yeah.
You can also find us on Instagram at Talkaholics Pod. For any updates about when we post episodes and things like that. Any suggestions, please also email
Gmail
us, please
email us.
And if you have any ideas, because like, again, we're still in experimental mode, you know, having a few guests on so far, and like we have ideas for what we want to do in the future, but we'd be happy to, you know, take any of that. So thank you guys for listening in.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Bye.